Now, as sovereign bond yields remain at a high around Europe's periphery, we'll be monitoring Spain's latest bill auction later this Tuesday. Now, the country is selling 3-month and 6-month bills. Results are due around 9:30 London time. Well, to talk more about Spain's efforts to avoid the debt contagion, I'm joined by Brendan Brown, chief economist at Mitsubishi UFJ Securities International. Brendan, thank you so much for coming in. There's so much talk, of course, that we're 1 year after we had the bailout for Greece. Nothing much has happened. Germany is now in more political revolt than it ever was. How do you see this all panning out? Do we need to wait until we have a successor to Trichet, or can it all burst in the next couple of months?
No, I don't see it all bursting in the next couple of months. In fact, I'm much more concerned that the real test for this very makeshift arrangement in Europe is going to be when the Chinese economy slows, when asset bubbles begin to burst in commodities and globally, and then we'll find that European banks have a lot more than just European sovereign debt to worry about.
But Bernd, what happens if there is a bubble bursting in terms of assets worldwide? If China slows, are we going to see a double-dip recession in Europe?
Well, Germany is certainly going to be in the front line because when you look at the economic arithmetic, Germany is the most geared major economy on the China East Asian commodity boom. Their exports have been doing fantastically out of this. So if you see any turnaround in commodity markets, slowdown in China, East Asia, the emerging markets, Germany is the loser from that. And of course that has a lot of implications for European monetary policy also.
But do you expect that to happen this year? Chinese growth slowing? Asset bubbles bursting?
Who can forecast when exactly hot temperatures come down, but there's more and more indicators that we are coming near to that point, and that is a main scenario for the second half of 2011.
Brendan, I wanted to come back to what we were just talking about, those Spanish bond auctions. Is there any kind of thing that you're looking at to see whether Spain can withhold all the jitters that we see in these bond markets over the last couple of months? Will it need a bailout?
Well, there's no immediate trigger to a bailout. The big risk factor in Spain, as it has been for a long time, is any sort of run of capital out of the banking system. And we saw 2 weeks ago, for example, the finance minister in Spain saying that the banks are not to raise interest rates or pay these premium rates anymore, and they're going to be penalized for this. That's really a bit like Queen Canute or King Canute in the sense that Spanish banks have to pay higher interest to attract the funds they can't get in the interbank markets because there's not all that degree of confidence in them. So there is a degree of strain there, and it's not going to go away. But I think the trigger to any sort of bigger problem is not going to be an auction in the bond market, but it's going to be some general unease in global banking markets, and Spain would be very much at the losing end of that.
Which could potentially be triggered by a slowdown in Chinese growth.
That's right, and any sort of sudden shock or commodity market turnaround and financial losses appearing somewhere in the international banking system.
Now, of course, the other million-dollar question is who's going to replace Jean-Claude Trichet in October. Bloomberg understands that Nicolas Sarkozy is going to back Mario Draghi. Is he the right candidate to take over the reins? And will it mean that we'll have as much unity on the board that we have now with Jean-Claude Trichet if he does come into power?
Well, we have a very corporate consensus style of leadership within the ECB, except for Professor Weber, who's now gone. And I don't see it making a huge or even significant difference to what European monetary policy is like now, 3 months' time, 6 months' time, 12 months' time, whether it's Governor Draghi or whether it's going to be somebody from Luxembourg or from Finland. That's really not going to be the big issue, and so that's not number one concern.
Great. Brendan, thank you. Brendan Brown there.